This is Next Steps for Seniors with your host, Wendy Jones. Each week, Wendy brings resources and information to help guide you through those next steps with elderly parents and loved ones. You can follow, subscribe, and share on your favorite podcast platform. If you have questions or topic suggestions for Wendy, you can call us at 248-651-5010 or email at hello@nextstepsforseniors.com.
Welcome to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. I'm your host, Wendy Jones, and our topic today is aging in place. So our goal really is to worry about the future you, so you don't have to. We want to share information, educate you, and as we age, things start happening to our bodies, and we're just not aware of what we should know about it. And 65 and older, did you know 70% of the people will need some type of care in your lifetime? So if you're over the age 65 and you want to age in place, this is the program for you, honestly. And in my studio today is Kim Sprangler. How are you today, Kim?
I'm great.
I'm so grateful to have you. You are a wealth of knowledge. You have been in this business a long time. You have a passion for seniors. And she is representing Harmony Cares, which is a national platform that brings care right into the home.
Yes, and thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk to your audience about all the good things that we do at Harmony Care. We just really believe that every person, everybody should have access to quality health care, and that is our mission, and that's what we're out there doing, bringing it right to you.
Well, and it gets harder to get to doctors' offices and to get even just in the car, right?
It does.
And, you know, what your organization done is really help the people who are more homebound and elderly, and it's difficult to do some of these things.
It really is.
And so you have a full spectrum that it's called a continuum,
right,
that you offer as an organization.
Right. So our continuum of care starts with your PCP, your primary care provider. We specialize in geriatric care. We also can bring the labs and the x-rays, the diagnostics to your home, and we offer skilled home health care, palliative, and hospice care as well. So everything you need as you get older, we've got right available to bring to you at home.
And that's why our topic is aging in place, because the reality is many people do not want to have to leave their home.
Correct.
And guess what? We don't want you to. So that's why we're here today, is to give you some information and ways that you can stay home healthy and not have to load mom and dad in the car, drive them to the doctor's office in the middle of the day, wait for hours, drive them back. Anyone who's done that knows how difficult it is to do that. You're exhausted. Everybody's exhausted.
You really are. And so is the patient who's doing it too.
So you actually bring the physicians right into the home.
We do. So our patient population tends to be a very medically complex, frail, homebound population. And so with that, you know, those are the things that we specialize in. And so we take current, you know, the medical interventions that are working today that are proven, and we deliver them right to you at home rather than you having to come out to the office.
So someone would just like call your main number and schedule an appointment, or how does it work?
Well, yes, but you would need to have your insurance verified to make sure that we accept your insurance. We accept all traditional Medicare Part B, and we are contracted with several Medicare Advantage plans. And so it's just a matter of insurance being, we're a provider that your insurance provider contracts with.
Mm-hmm. Right, right. And if it's covered, which most of them are, because you do have a lot of coverage, definitely double check that. And then right in the comfort of your own home, they can do a physical examination, a wellness check, whatever it is you need. I love it.
Yeah. So
why not? Why are we trudging through snow and loading? I mean, I can't even imagine.
Right. And your audience probably remembers fondly the days of the physician coming to the home and making house calls. So
way back in the day.
Yeah. So that's what we're bringing back. We're bringing back the house calls.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And not just the physician. You've got a lot of other services you're bringing back into the home.
Right.
Because our goal is to get stronger. Let's not give up on ourselves.
Right.
If you've got a sore knee or you broke your hip and it's just not the same, you can get physical therapy.
Correct.
right?
Yes.
And so that's called home health care. Tell us a little bit about what services are provided through home health care.
So for home health care, it is going to be your skilled nursing, which is a nurse that comes to the home. And things that might require skilled nursing would be maybe you have a wound that's not healing. Maybe you have medication that has been changed. You have a new diagnosis, or maybe the progression of your illness is causing new medications. A nurse can come and educate and help you manage those medications so you're following the regimen that
And
the
that's
doctor...
that's covered under Medicare.
Yeah, that's the skilled home health
And
benefit
how
for nursing.
often would they come?
It just depends on your need. So the frequency is determined by, at the start of care, we call
Right.
it. So when they come for that initial assessment, they're checking out all those things so that you get whatever you need in the right frequency delivered right at home. But beyond nursing, for the strengthening, there's physical therapy, there's occupational therapy, there's speech therapy if you should need that, a social worker, the medical supplies. So say you have a wound, all the bandages and things that we
Is
use.
covered? Mm-hmm. Nice. And what I like about the services that you're providing is the goal is to get you stronger and to do it conveniently.
Right. We want to keep you home and independent. And so that's the whole purpose of it.
Now, you can even bring X-ray equipment, like mobile diagnostic equipment, into the home, correct?
Yeah. So whether you need blood work or you need an X-ray, our units are mobile, and every provider is partnered with a medical assistant. So at your usual visit, when they come to the home, if you needed blood drawn, the medical assistant would be drawing the blood right there. So it's not another appointment. It's not another place to go. It's done right there when you need it.
So this is just so fantastic. So the PCP, the primary care physician that you have, would come out and visit first, and then write a script for blood work and an X-ray, let's say on the chest. And then whenever they would schedule the appointment and come right to the house, bring in the mobile equipment to do the X-ray right in the house.
That's how it goes.
I mean, that is fascinating.
Yes.
So anyone listening who has done the whole lug the parent to get an X-ray at an X-ray place, like, you don't even need to do that anymore.
Right.
So the requirements are what? You need to be technically homebound?
Yes, which means that you have extreme difficulty leaving the house. And I mean, that could look like it's not safe for you to go up and down the stairs to get in and out of your house. And it has to be really difficult for you to be able to go. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't go to church. It doesn't mean that you can't attend a special occasion. You're not homebound in the sense that you can never leave, but it has to be really difficult for you to leave.
So I think that's really important, because it's not just us, the daughter or the son saying it's difficult, but the actual senior needs to say, yeah, it's kind of hard for me to do that, which is really hard for us to do.
It is. It's
We don't
really
wanna
hard
admit-
to ask for help.
We don't want to admit that we need help, or it's hard to get into the car.
Right.
But think of the convenience and how much easier your life and your children's lives will be if they're not
Right.
trying to get you into the car and driving you across town. It just makes everything so much easier
It
and more
does.
efficient, really.
And you're not risking a fall. You're not just all the things
That can happen on the way and
Yep.
back.
Yep.
So it's okay to admit that, seniors. I guess I'm talking to you right now. It's okay to say, you know what, this could be for me. This could make my life a little easier. As we age, we don't want to take away independence. We want to put support, right, around it. It's to keep you independent. And that's what Harmony Cares does.
Right. We bring all these layers of support around you so that you can maintain independent and have a really great quality of life.
So tell us how to get a hold of you. Anyone who's listening to the program, what's the best ways?
The website, harmonycares.com, is going to be your absolute best way because of all the offices across the country. You're going to be able to do a couple of clicks and get to the state and the area that you need to go. So I would recommend that.
Okay, and then you'll find out if the insurance is appropriate.
Yep.
And then get started right away. I mean, I'm guessing you can get a physician there within a week or two.
Yes.
Just like you would any regular physician office.
Correct.
I love that you offer that. Now, there's other services. So you do the physicians, you do the lab and diagnostics, which I still can't get over that the mobile equipment is coming in the house and you're doing an X-ray in your home. Home health care we talked about. What about, I know there's other services.
The palliative care and hospice. So palliative care is
People are confused by
They
palliative
are.
care. I would love, since you have all this experience, I would love you to share what that is
Okay.
compared to hospice.
So palliative care, the easiest way to keep it straight is you can remain on curative and aggressive treatments. So if you have cancer, everybody understands that diagnosis. So if you're still going for chemo, you're still going for radiation, you are wanting every aggressive treatment, but you have some pain that is not going away. It's due to the cancer diagnosis. Maybe it's bone pain, things like that that come with your disease. It's intended for the chronically ill to manage the symptoms of that illness while you're still seeking treatment. You don't have to be seeking treatment, but that's the difference between hospice and palliative on one level. You're,
Whether you seek treatment or not.
Right.
So the curative measures.
Right.
You're trying to cure the problem.
Right.
You can still do that on palliative.
Right. And you can have home health care while you're on palliative as well. So
Okay, that's a huge bonus.
Right. So if you're needing some strengthening because that's going to make you stronger and it's going to help some of your symptoms, then that would be an appropriate use of home health care as well.
Okay, so this is important because a lot of times that is not available. Medicare will only take one or the other. So
Right.
the fact that it'll take both for palliative care is a very big deal, listeners. So we want to take advantage of that. We're going to take a quick break and be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. I'm your host, Wendy Jones, and we're here today with Kim Sprangler, which I'm blessed to have her in the studio. And she is with Harmony Cares, which really is a continuum. They offer all of these amazing services and bring them right into your home. So you don't need to leave the house to have an x-ray, for example, which we talked about in the last segment, which is so fantastic. Why not take advantage of Harmony Cares? So what I'd love to know, Kim, if you can describe, we were just getting into palliative care in our last segment and how palliative is a little different from hospice care. Can you describe the type of patient that would benefit from palliative care?
Yes. So we are providing care to people who are living with complex progressive medical illnesses, and we focus on the quality of life and relief of symptoms that are caused by advanced illnesses. So it's somebody with maybe congestive heart failure or COPD, maybe it's liver disease, those diseases that are chronic and they get worse as time goes on. And symptoms can come up with those things, with those diseases, and so we're there to help just mitigate those
symptoms. Really,
Mm-hmm.
right. And because you want to have curative measures when you're on palliative, you still want to maybe have a blood transfusion if you need one, right? But when you're on hospice, you can't have a blood transfusion because you've kind of stopped the curative component, correct?
So with hospice, where it's different is you have a terminal diagnosis. So you have been given 6 months or less to live if your disease follows its normal trajectory. So that's really the difference between palliative and hospice. There's no more interventions to try. Maybe you've decided you don't want to do any of those interventions.
I think the key thing is you don't want to keep going back to the hospital.
Right.
If you go back to the hospital repeatedly, and then you're going to home, the rehab, and it just gets really exhausting, you want to be done with all of that. That's
Right.
when you would make the transfer to palliative or hospice care.
Right. And with the palliative care, think of it like a specialist, another team member in your care team. And so they are working, they're experts at symptom management for those types of chronic illnesses. They will also work with the patient and their caregivers, their family on advanced care planning so that they have the voice of what do they really want their wishes to be at end of life.
Advanced care planning is so important. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. So
tell our listeners, is it like a form you fill out, right?
Well, yes, there are forms to fill out as you're planning, but it's the conversation and it's, getting those things talked about so that they understand what does it mean if you say, I'm full code? What does it mean if you are a DNR, do not resuscitate? Does that mean you don't want tube feeding? Does that mean you just don't want a tube down your throat? It's just the ventilator,
And we want to make these decisions while we can.
Yes.
What we don't want to do is we don't want to have someone else have to make those decisions and not know what we want.
Right.
And it's really important with advanced care planning to do it ahead of time.
Right.
Do it while you can.
In the middle of a crisis or an emergency is not the best time to be making those decisions.
And when there's a high level of stress, and then all of a sudden your spouse or your kids are like, I don't know what she would have wanted.
Right.
Like, talk about this stuff in advance. It's really, really, really critical. So back to hospice, because I feel like this is such a big topic, the difference between palliative and hospice. And both of these services Harmony Cares provides and brings them right into the home for you.
Correct. So with hospice, I already talked about the you have a terminal diagnosis and the trajectory of the disease is 6 months or less to live.
But just for the record, really quick,
Yes.
I've had people on hospice for 2 years.
Yes. So that is our job to make sure that we are getting the care is being documented in a way that, keeps you recertifying for service. So
yes, because we don't know what God's plan is.
We don't.
And so I guess, listeners, I'm just saying this because don't feel like if you go on hospice, you only have 6 months. That
Right.
is not the case.
Right.
Only God determines the day or the hour.
I agree.
So you could be here for 2 years. You could be here for 3 years. And honestly, I've had people go on and off of hospice.
Right. So we talk about going off of hospice as a graduation because what's happened is you have stabilized, you've hit a plateau, if you will, where the decline has stopped. And it's not uncommon. We see this happening more and more. You bring the group of, just that whole blanket of support that comes with hospice services. You have the nurse, you have the aide who comes and helps you with bathing, you have a social worker, you have a chaplain for spiritual concerns, you have a bereavement coordinator, there's a volunteer if you need one. So it's this whole team of people dedicated to helping you live every day that you have left to its fullest and the best quality possible.
Right, right. Well, I love it. I mean, it's definitely something that's necessary. So how do you get on hospice?
You have to have a doctor certify your terminal illness. And then it's two doctors, but our medical director, our hospice
So it's a
medical
prescription.
director.
So the doctor will write a prescription, like a script,
Right.
for hospice, and then you turn it into the hospice company, and then they come
Right.
out to the house. Okay.
Right. You can call a hospice company without an order. If you just want information, we need to be having information conversations with people so they understand what the benefit is, what they understand what it isn't, and it just helps everybody have more informed decisions when they have that conversation.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about, just switching gears for a second, age-friendly care?
Yes, we're super excited. We're one of the first ones to have this designation with our CHAP accreditation. So CHAP is an organization that accredits us.
Yeah, accredits. That's right. Yeah.
To provide Medicare services for both home health and hospice. So with the age-friendly care, they call it the 4 M's. And those M's are what matters most to you and your family and caregivers. The second M is about medications, and it's safely managing your medications. The third M is mobility, so developing strategies to help you increase mobility around your home so that you can stay safe and as independent, decrease your falls and injuries. And then the fourth M is mind, so focusing on the mind and monitoring both cognitive functioning as well as watching for signs of depression with aging. So we are really dedicated to providing respectful care, and it's based on your individual preferences, and it engages our patients as active partners throughout their course of care. So we're really proud of that designation.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. And Harmony Cares nationwide has that designation.
Yes.
And it is, you have to go through a course of things in order to get that. And it's nice to know that you have that available. Fantastic. Thank you for that. So where are you currently located?
So we are across the United States, and the medical group is in all of the states that are listed. And we start with medical group, and then as we have enough patients on census, then we will bring in the home health and the hospice and the palliative care.
Whatever's necessary.
Yep, the whole continuum to serve our patients.
Well, and that's what I love about Harmony Cares. One company, you make one phone call and they have the entire continuum available to you. So a lot of people right now are like, oh, I'm going to go to this place for rehab. I'm going to have this company come into my house because I can't leave. I'm going to go to this doctor over here and go that way. And then I'm going to have this, go to the lab, drive to the lab. When you go to Harmony Cares, it's all right there. It's one company. They have all your files congruent, right?
Right.
And then you're able to, they'll say, oh, I'm going to send the lab out. Oh, I'm going to send, oh, here's your results. It just is so much easier.
And then we also meet as teams to talk about the patient so that everybody's on the same page with the care that's being provided.
Absolutely. So harmonycares.com, you said?
Yes.
Okay. And is there an 800 number too, or is that the best way is the website?
The website is the best way.
So in closing, what would you tell somebody who, is really struggling getting to and from places, struggling with their age mentally? What is some advice that you would have as we age?
Well, I'd first like to say, I'd like to acknowledge how scary that probably feels. And to know that you're not alone. These services exist because there's an entire population of people that feel the same way you do. So please reach out. There are so many community resources, but starting with us is a good place to start as well. And you don't have to age uncomfortably. You don't have to be isolated. You don't have to do, all the things that you imagine would be scary about getting old. We're here to walk beside you. We meet you where you are, and we help you down that path.
And we all go through it, every single one of us. And guess what? If you haven't been there yet, you're going to get there.
Right.
So we might as well embrace this time in our lives instead of being fearful of it. And let's make it easier on ourselves.
Right.
I think that's the key thing. And I guess my words of wisdom would be a couple things. Number one, it would be to embrace, like I said, embrace this time, but make the call to us if you really don't know what the answer is or where to go, because there are so many services out there. Scheduling doctor's appointments becomes a full-time job. This is all you do as you age. It's like, oh, I got to go to the eye doctor. I got to go to the ear doctor. I got to get my hearing aids fixed. I got to get my teeth done. And it's overwhelming. It doesn't need to be.
Right.
We are here for you. And that is exactly why we have this program for you. That's why Harmony Cares was here today talking about aging in place, because we have resources. We want to help you. We want to embrace this time instead of being fearful for it. Thank you for listening to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. You can reach us at 248-651-5010. And do not hesitate to subscribe, follow, and share on your local podcast stations as well. Have a blessed day.